Okay, good evening, students. Thank you once again joining Paper 1 classes for UGC NET June 2026. So today we will be discussing evaluation system in education. So this is week 1, day 7. Basically the topic will be elements and types of evaluation system. So with this day 7, we are almost close to the paper 1 uh, unit 1 syllabus. Okay, that is teaching aptitude. Of course materials will gradually improve, but tomorrow you are going to have a mock test. Questions are ready and it will be time bound mock test. So let's hope that you will get good marks, and we will be having repeated mock test. So we are preparing another 50 questions also, that will happen parallelly. Okay, so thank you once again. Let's do a quick revision of what we did yesterday. Basically we tried to learn that there are three categories of teaching support system. That is traditional. In traditional you have blackboard, books, library and labs. And in modern you have smart classroom, digital content, interactive tools. In ICT based you are going to have SOAM, MOOCs, digital library and other teaching learning apps. Best practices, you should have blended approach, right? So today's focus, the session will be focusing on evaluation system. Now, what is evaluation and elements of evaluation? So today's session will be little very objective oriented. So we will try to understand the concept of evaluation, elements of evaluation, types of evaluation, classification 1, that is based on the purpose, classification 2 based on timing, classification 3 internal versus external, classification 4 norm versus criteria, continuous and comprehensive evaluation, grading versus marking, practice questions, key takeaways. So coming to the definition of, or the question when we ask what is evaluation. Evaluation is the systematic process of determining the extent to which educational objectives are achieved by students. So there are three related terms. First one is measurement, that is quantitative assessment, scoring, assessment, that is gathering information about learning, evaluation, judgment about quality and value. So there are actually three difference: measurement, assessment and evaluation. So we are talking about evaluation. So that is, evaluation is a systematic process. It is just not a random process, and moreover it is a judgment about the quality and value based on the measurement as well as the assessment. So the relationship between measurement, assessment and evaluation is, measurement is much narrower, then assessment is little broader, then evaluation is broadest, right? So measurement is always, you can say, we start with measurement, then we gradually progress towards the broader and broadest. Okay, so you can see the difference. So what are the different aspects? Definition, how you can differentiate between all these three. First is definition, nature, focus, example, when and the purpose, right? So if you will see first one, right, definition. So the measurement is quantify performance. Okay, measurement definition. To quantify performance means in class test when you are getting let's say that 20 marks, 10 marks. So what we are basically trying to do over there, we are trying to quantify the performance over there. Then assessment is to gather information. Then evaluation to judge the quality. Then next is nature. In measurement it is objective, means clear cut, but assessment is descriptive, evaluation is judgmental. And the focus is measurement, how you will measure numbers or scores. Assessment is understanding, evaluation is decision making. Suppose example, you got 75 out of 100. The students answered 15 questions out of 20 questions correctly, then the performance is good. Usually the feedback which you give. And during test measurement, we measure during test, assessment throughout the learning, and evaluation you do after the assessment. This is the very important. When which thing happens. And the purpose is, in case of measurement we assign marks. In assessment we understand learning. This is very important. In evaluation we improve the teaching. Okay. So there is a clear cut difference, and you can see based on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 criteria we are going to discuss. Suppose example is students score 75 mark, that is measurement. Teacher assesses which topic are weak, now assessment. It concludes student needs more practice in algebra, that is evaluation. Suppose after, let's say that unit 1 of paper 1, what I will be doing? Tomorrow I will be taking a mock test, that is a measurement. Whatever the score you will get, that is a measurement. Now based on that I will be assessing each one of you, that where you went wrong. Okay. Then based on that assessment I will be concluding, that is my evaluation, what you need to do. Clear? Yeah. So I think okay, just give me a second. There is a just 1 second. Okay, when we are using Zoom writing app, so it is creating like it is duplicating actually. Okay, not a problem. We can wipe it out. So then the next question is, why you need the evaluation, or what are the purposes of evaluation? First is to measure learning, to check if objectives are achieved, to diagnose problem, to identify learning difficulties, to provide feedback to students and teachers, and to motivate students, that is progress tracking motivates, to improve teaching, that is to identify what works, grade and certify, that is formal recognition, selection and placement, that is admission, promotion, accountability, teacher and institutional quality. Okay. Then next, okay, we will not use the board right now, so better we will focus on the content. So characteristics of good evaluation. So what are the characteristics? First characteristics is validity. Okay, you have to measure and what it claims to measure. Reliability means consistent results. Then objectivity, it should be free from bias, then comprehensive, it should cover all objectives, practicality, it is easy to administer, then additional features, fair to all students, it should be fair to all students, timely feedback, transparent criteria, diagnostic value, continuous process, multiple methods. So, good evaluation helps learning, not just rank students. Okay? Characteristics already we have discussed. Next we will discuss what are the elements or component of evaluation. So what are the elements? The fundamental components that make up a complete evaluation system are objectives. There are 6 key elements. First is objectives, teaching learning process, assessment tools, grading and marking system, feedback mechanism, decision making. Right? So these are the 6 key elements of evaluation. Now first we will focus objectives. Why objectives? Because evaluation must align with learning objectives. We cannot evaluate what was not taught. So clear objectives help to define what to evaluate, to design appropriate test, to ensure alignment, and to do a fair assessment. Example, in economics course, the objective is to the students should be able to calculate GDP. Evaluation is to give numerical problem on GDP calculation. Wrong is to ask theoretical essay on GDP history. So now if you have already remember what is happening over here. First of all, when we try to evaluate, you have to exactly, the instructor has to be very clear what you are going to evaluate. Then only you can design the appropriate test and you can do the alignment. So what is the connection in the with respect to Bloom's taxonomy here? First is knowledge. Knowledge will lead to comprehension. Comprehension will lead to application. Application will lead to analysis. Analysis will lead to synthesis. Synthesis will lead to evaluation. So each level needs different evaluation methods. Suppose for example, if you want to evaluate synthesis, then obviously you need a different evaluation method. The same method will not be sufficient. Okay? So that is why it is very crucial. Next we will discuss the evaluation should reflect the teaching methods and learning activities used. Suppose for example, if teaching emphasized problem solving, means group projects, practical work, critical thinking, creativity, then you can evaluate through problem solving questions, project assessment, practical exams, analysis questions, creative assignments, right? But what is mismatch over here is to teach practical skills but evaluating only theory. You are teaching practical skills, but when it comes to exam, you are only evaluating the theory, or there are theoretical questions in the exam. So that is unfair and invalid. Right? Next, what are the different assessment tools and techniques? Tools for evaluation: written test, that is very objective and subjective. Practical exams, lab work, demonstration. Oral exams, viva voce, presentation. Projects, research, assignments, portfolios, collection of student work, observation, classroom participation, self-assessment, student reflection, peer assessment, student evaluate peers. So you have all these actually different type of evaluation. We may be doing only one or two, right? But you can see we can bring the variety of menus for the assessment over here. So you can choose the tool based on the objectives, subject nature, class size and resources. Right? Next is grading and marking system. Marking is assigning numerical scores. So it is based on performance, absolute values. Example, that is 75 marks out of 100. So grading system is basically absolute grading is fixed cutoff. Relative grading is where you try to match with a normal political. So now grading is converting marks to grades, relative standing, basically letter grades, A, B, C, grade points are basically calculated, grade point average. Then suppose for example below 60 we are giving C or fail, 60 to 69 we are giving B or above average, 70 to 79 we are giving B plus or good, then 80 to 89 we are giving very good, 90 to 100 we are giving excellent. So this is how grading is basically relative. Okay, so it is a data, like grades are basically shows the ordinal ranking, ordinal data. It's a qualitative data. Okay, there are two type of data, quantitative and qualitative. So grading reflects the ordinal, it is measured with the ordinal scale. Now once you do the assessment evaluation, next important is you have to collect the feedback. So feedback to students, basically its strengths and weakness, to teacher what works and what doesn't, to parents child's progress, to institution course effectiveness. So we have to give feedback to various stakeholders, not only just the students. Good feedback is specific, not vague. Means it should not be very not clear. Okay. So you have to give timely. It means we are conducting the exam, but after 4 months you will give the feedback. Until then, the end semester exam will be over. Then what is the point of getting feedback for the students? So that is of no use. So decision making is basically about students. You have to take the decision as a teacher. Either you have to pass or fail. You have to promote them. You have to do the remedial help. Then awards and recognition, those who will excel. And about teaching, you can modify the methods, change the pace, additional resources, curriculum revision. Now let us focus on the type of evaluation, right? So there are multiple classifications. So evaluation can be classified based on different criteria. We will study 4 major classifications. First one is based on purpose. Please note it down, or the PPT will be uploaded in the Google Classroom. So don't worry about it. So based on purpose, diagnostic, formative and summative. Based on timing, placement, formative, diagnostic, summative. Based on scope, internal versus external. Based on approach, this normal, you can say norm referenced or criteria reference. So these are the 4 different type of evaluation system we follow. Okay. Next is, let us focus on different one by one. What is, because already we have classified the type of evaluation, right? Then diagnostic evaluation. So what is diagnostic evaluation? So it means the purpose is to diagnose learning difficulties and to identify causes. When we will use the diagnostic evaluation, when student struggles and it is before remedial teaching to find specific weakness anytime during the course. Example, mathematics, let's say a student failing algebra test, then to give the diagnostic test to find weak in fractions, action is remedial on fractions. How you will conduct? You will conduct the diagnostic test, error analysis, interviews. And the focus is to identify the problem areas, to understand the causes and plan the intervention. Next is formative evaluation. So what is formative evaluation? The purpose is to monitor learning progress and improve teaching learning during the course. Like for example, we will be doing a formative evaluation. We will be monitoring the learning progress of each one of the students. Then also we will improve our teaching delivery. If let's say that if in one particular unit you need more attention or you need more classes, we will also provide that. So the characteristics of formative evaluation is it is a continuous process. It happens during the instruction and it is feedback focused, and especially it helps for self learning. So your learning will be next level in this case, formative evaluation, right? So what is the benefit? Early problem detection, timely intervention, adjust teaching methods. It will motivate the students. It will reduce the exam anxiety. Methods, class test and quiz. Example, weekly quizzes, let's say that 10 marks or unit test. So the more you will do formative evaluation, so the students will be aligned and he or she will be relaxed. Not a problem. Relaxed in the sense means comfortable, right? Next is summative evaluation. So summative evaluation is basically coming from the word summarize. So summarize means overall learning at the end of the course or term, I think, which is basically it happens in our case. So that is summative evaluation. So basically characteristics are end of the course it will happen, high stakes, comprehensive, the grades or certifications, measures total achievement, methods are final examination, board exams, purpose is grade students. Example, semester exam, which already I told you. Now you can compare formative versus summative. Timing, formative is during instruction, that is continuous. Summative is end of the course or term. Purpose, in formative to improve learning, summative to measure the achievement. Stakes low, but in summative the stakes are high because the measure weight is there. Then feedback is detailed and immediate feedback, but in summative evaluation the feedback is general and delayed. And grading may not be graded, but in summative evaluation it is always graded. Example, weekly quiz, homework, final exam, board exam. Analyze, like you can relate the analogy is here, like when you do health checkups every during a year, that is formative, but summative, let's say that final medical exam. So both are essential. Formative guides, summative certifies. This is how you can remember. Next we will try to understand 4 types based on the timing. So without you can say Placement evaluation. So what are those four types? Placement evaluation, that is before instruction begins. Formative evaluation during instruction. Diagnostic evaluation when problem detected. And summative evaluation after instruction ends. So the timeline is basically placement, then formative, then diagnostic, then summative. Okay. So first we will go to the placement evaluation. So what is the placement evaluation? It will determine the students' entry level knowledge and place them appropriately. So when used, right, basically at the beginning of the course or at the admission time, before instruction or new batch starts. Example is entrance exam, placement test, pre-test, screening test. And what it checks is prior knowledge, prerequisites met, readiness to learn, skill level. And the decision made is admit or not, basic versus advanced section, need for the bridge course, starting point. So basically it is done with respect to job, right? Or you can say so what it basically is checking is skill level, right? So now let us summarize, means the other two, that is internal versus external evaluation. For internal evaluation, it is conducted by own teachers within the institution. It happens continuous basis. Largely it is formative. Example are class test, assignments, practicals, attendance, participation. The advantage is the teacher knows the students. It is flexible and there is immediate feedback. It covers all the objectives. External evaluation is by outside agency. Uniform standards, summative mostly. Examples are board exam, university exam, UGC NET, competitive exam. The advantage is objective, standardized, credible and comparable. Modern trend is combination, that is 30% internal plus 70% external. Then norm reference versus criteria referenced. Norm referenced is NRT to compare student with others. Relative performance, ranking or percentile, is basically competitive. It is also known as bell curve grading. Like I think UGC NET, right? Top 10% gets DRF, or you get rank 5 in class or 95th percentile. Right? Why? Because the selection is done because of limited seats. Criteria reference, CRT, you compare with the standard criteria, absolute performance, mastery of objectives, individual achievements, fixed cutoffs. So you score 60% plus to pass, or you want to achieve objective, yes or no, competency mastered. So these are like example, criteria reference. You compare with respect to a standard criteria. Okay, so that is basically absolute. It can be absolute performance, or the criteria will be fixed based on the situation. Suppose here is one example is given, it will clarify your doubt. Suppose scenario 1, 10 students take driving test. So norm reference approach is you rank all the 10 students, top 5 will get the license, bottom 5 will fail. Problem is, even if all drive well, 5 must fail. Okay, so the criteria reference approach is to set standard, park correctly, follow rules, drive safely. Anyone meeting criteria will get the license. So that is how. Now CCE is a basically modern evaluation approach. So it's a continuous comprehensive evaluation, a system that evaluates all aspects of student development throughout the year. So there are two components. One is continuous, that is regular evaluation, not just the final exam. Comprehensive, all aspects. Basically all aspects means what? Cognitive, affective and psychomotor. Basically it was introduced by the CBSE in the year 2009. Philosophy is to reduce the stress, promote holistic development. Okay. Now let's go deeper. CCE, continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Let's try to understand how it works. So continuous evaluation, regular assessment, it happens throughout the year, multiple opportunities. So it is formative as well as summative, weight distributed. Example, in case of formative, let's say that 40% will be test, assignment, participation projects. Summative, it will be 60%. Right? Comprehensive evaluation, where you have the scholastic areas. Co-scholastic areas is life skills, attitudes, values, sports, arts, social services. The assessment tools are written test, oral test or practicals. Now, CC, what are the advantages and challenges? The advantages are it will reduce exam stress, holistic development, continuous feedback, identify problems early, multiple chances, evaluate all abilities. It is student friendly, but the challenges is teacher workload is very high. It requires training, subjective elements, record keeping burden, standardization difficult. It may inflate the grades. So the current status is CC principles continue in various forms across education system. So grading system versus marking system. So marking system is basically numerical scores. It is precise, shows exact performance. Traditional system in India, it was used widely. Advantage is precise information, easy to understand, clear comparison. Disadvantage, it creates pressure. But grading system, letter grades, ABC, grade ranges, it measures relative performance. It is modern trend. Many countries use. The advantage is that it reduces the stress, focuses on learning, small mark difference ignored, and encourages the exploration. So this is how grading scales are defined, and you can say grade point average. How you calculate average of all grade point you can take. So that is what you can get the grade point average. So let's start with the quiz. Okay, I think you all are ready for the quiz. Let's see the first question. I will see the okay. So CC stands for Central Comprehensive Examination, continuous or comprehensive evaluation, compulsory common examination, or criteria reference continuous evaluation. Yes, quick. Okay, Sunali is very quick. Okay, but I don't see. Yeah, Chinmay is also there. Okay, thanks. Okay, so next question. We'll go to the next question. So answer is B. So continuous and comprehensive evaluation. It means CC evaluates student continuously throughout the year and comprehensively across all development areas. Next question. Formative evaluation is conducted at the end of the course, before starting the course, during the course, and only for selection. So Shivani is saying C. Chinmay is saying C. Okay, I think these questions are a little easy. Answer is C. During the course, explanation is formative, evaluation is continuous assessment during instruction to improve learning. Next question, let us complete. Diagnostic evaluation is used to grade students, identify learning difficulties, select student, give certificates. So what is the answer? Let's start writing. So everyone is saying B, right? That is good. So B, to identify learning difficulties. So diagnostic evaluation diagnoses specific learning problems and their causes. Then in criteria reference evaluation, student is compared with other students, fixed standard or class average or previous performance. Okay. Chinmay, that's B. Okay, very good. So answer is B. This fixed standard criteria reference compares performance with predetermined criteria or standards. Question 5. Board examination are example of internal evaluation, formative evaluation, external evaluation, diagnostic evaluation. The answer will be external evaluation, right? Because board exams are conducted by external agencies with standardized procedures. Okay. So let us try to wind up because you should spend more time to cover your syllabus for tomorrow's exam. Today's key learning will be to evaluation fundamentals, basically evaluation, systematic judgment of achievement, measurement, assessment and evaluation. The important characteristics of evaluation is it should be valid, reliable and objective. The type of evaluation will be diagnostic, formative, summative. Based on the timing, placement, formative, diagnostic, summative. Based on the scope, it will be internal versus external. The approach is norm reference versus criteria reference. Now what is important points for the exam? CC means continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Formative during the course. Summative end of the course. Diagnostic identify learning difficulties. Placement before the course. Internal by own teacher. External by outside agency. NRT compare with others. So basically relative. CRT compare with the standard absolute. Marking numerical scores. Grading letter grades, good evaluation, valid, reliable, objective, comprehensive. Feedback should be specific, timely, constructive. So, you can create a comparison table, formative versus summative, right? So, tomorrow we are having 50 MCQ mock test and you can review the material. Okay, all the materials are given. So last 2 days, yesterday's and today, day 6 and day 7, I will upload just now after the class. So now let us discuss you share your thoughts. Which evaluation type do you prefer? Why? Is CC effective in your opinion? Grading versus marking, your view. Any evaluation experience to share? So, tomorrow we will complete week 1. So, we did excellent work this week and we hope that we will maintain the same rigor and honesty, and will do religiously the classes and the mock test to achieve our common goal. So today also we'll end with a excellent quote. The task of the excellent teacher is to stimulate apparently ordinary people to unusual effort. So this is very important. Can you see over here? Ordinary people to unusual effort. So excellent teacher can stimulate, can motivate to bring out that betterness within you. So the punchline is evaluate to elevate. Okay. So thank you once again. Let's see. Tomorrow there will be no class and there will be mock test. Okay. So let's see. I'll stop over here. Then we will discuss.